Mailloux and Mike Beer here with the Sunday race of the day for the daily racing form. It's going to be race number 9 from Los Alamitos race course at a mile on the main track. The Cal breds in the spotlight here, 2-year-old fillies in the $100,000 Soviet Problem Stakes. And Mike, we see a field of 6 here. I think there's probably one main case to be made in terms of the top spot at least, but maybe another horse or two to look at that could maybe potentially score an upset.
Yeah, it kind of feels like if there's going to be an upset in here, it might just come down to distance. The two-turn mile here seems like it could be an issue for some of these horses, including the horse who I guess will be the favorite, Loretta Lynn, second career start right off of a maiden win sprinting.
Yeah, you go down the page. Not too many horses have two-turn experience, and if they do, it's likely been on the turf, which kind of shakes things up a little bit here. But we mentioned Loretta Lynn, pretty impressive last time out, 6.5 at Santa Anita. And the big thing with Los Al, pretty long stretch. Not only are they going to stretch out to a mile, but it is a long stretch. And as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projections here, we see her on top, and I think rightfully so. She really set some blistering fractions last time out.
Yeah, I mean, kept right up close to what was a pretty solid pace. And listen, it took her a little while to sort of change her leads in the stretch, but once she did, she went on pretty well and won that race clear. And it's also at least worth pointing out here, who knows how far she wants to go, but she earned a 63 buyer winning first time out. Nobody else in this field is buyered out of the 50s, and they've all had at least 3 starts.
We see the late pace, flag put on here for Asada Fries. I'm not sure who's really going to be the late closer here. This is one that has been forwardly placed in the past, Mike. Last time out, that was able to sit the trip and get the job done to finally graduate.
Yeah, I mean, I like that she did it from off the pace last time. I like that she did it going a mile as well. That's probably a feather in her cap. We'll see if she can transfer that form over to dirt now.
Jump into the field here with the number 1, Madison Ray. This one out of the Peter Miller barn. Ran an okay debut, came back to graduate, but last time out was just really not involved in that Golden State Fillies race back on Breeders' Cup weekend at Santa Anita.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder if there's any kind of an excuse for that performance, stepping up in class. If nothing else, just didn't really run well at all that day. Did get caught wide the entire trip, so maybe that's the excuse. I thought her maiden win 2-back was fine, but it didn't blow me away.
And speaking of that specific race, we'll take a look at the replay to point out the number 2 in here, Petite Filet, who actually ends up racing the best out of the horses that participated in that race. Grand Slam Smile ends up drawing clear here. And Mike, we know how good Grand Slam Smile is, but I think to see this one at least pick up some pieces late, maybe some promise from her.
Yeah, I like the run that she puts in for second. I mean, she just has no chance here with the winner of this race, who was just dominant, but she's running on at the end here. And it seems like she's staying pretty well also, going 7 furlongs. So maybe it gives you a little bit of hope that she'll handle the two-turn mile here.
And 2 starts back, she was much the best over Asada Fries, who's next in the field from post position 3. This one out of the Craig Lewis barn. Taken her a while to graduate. She was able to do it last time out. We'll take a look at the replay. I think, Mike, there's 2 ways to look at this. Well, it's on the turf. That doesn't really matter on the dirt, but at least it was at a mile. At least it was going long.
Yeah, I like that about her. Again, we'll see if she can, continue her forward move here back onto the dirt again. Her dirt form actually isn't that great. She was second to Petite Filet 3 starts back when they got rained off the turf. I just didn't think that she ran that well in there. But maybe she's just a better horse now. I did like the maiden win, and I like that she did it over a distance of ground.
Yeah, and I like that she's able to sit a trip. I thought 2 and 3 starts back, she's a little bit more keen early on, but it seemed like it worked for her to sit just off of it. Now, the big name in here arguably is the number 4, Loretta Lynn. We'll take a look at her debut performance when she's able to cruise to a pretty nice victory by 2 1/4 lengths. We talked about it earlier. The pace was hot enough, and she was attending to it, pushing throughout and kind of putting some pressure on the pace setter. She is going to get it done here, a 63 buyer for this effort.
Yeah, I mean, it's a figure that, it just makes her faster than everybody else in here on the way in, and she did it first time out. Again, you see her there, she's sort of hanging on her left lead for a long part of that stretch, but she did change it and sort of got away at the end. I don't know, I just thought that she ran well in there. She's got a really nice pedigree. This dam could really run, but she was more of a sprinter, so I guess distance is really a question.
When you look at her, Mike, just curious, I mean, she is the least experienced in the field, but she's got to win where other horses have been struggling in their last few. Does that kind of bump her up in your book?
Yeah, I think, more than anything else, who knows how good she turns out to be. And maybe she's no superstar herself, but if nothing else, it feels like they found a great spot for her here.
The number 5, Fly of Fantasy, was able to graduate on debut, but since then, a little bit of mixed results, kind of a good race, bad race. I thought 2 back at Del Mar, probably her best race, arguably, not just in terms of finish, but in terms of the trip that she got. She's at least able to finish 3rd. She faced nice horses such as Crazy Hot, but I don't know what you do with that muddied form.
Yeah, she's a little slow on the way in here. Maybe she lands in a spot here where the distance really works against everybody else and she can pick up the pieces late. I don't know. I wouldn't bet her off of any of her first 4 starts. She was terrible in the Golden State Juvenile last time.
And the 6 putt for dough rounds out the field, the 2-year-old daughter of Nyquist, who also was able to graduate on debut. But since then, the best effort was second time out, going 5.5.
Yes, actually kind of surprising that they're going to push on and go in another stakes race here. They've kept her in all stakes races since the debut win. Another horse who just didn't really do anything in the Golden State Juvenile last time. They're going to try again.
Well, that rounds out the field here with that field of 6 for the Soviet problems. Before we get to our top pick here, don't forget to click free race the day access and much more on DRF.com. And I think based on the cases that we've made, Mike, a lot of horses have something to show and they really need to change things around. So curious to see, not curious, I guess, not surprised, Loretta Lynn ends up being our top pick.
Just hard. At least I thought it was hard to go against her. I couldn't really make a strong case for anybody else. I did put Asada Fries second just because I liked that she won going the mile last time. Maybe she'll bring that form over to dirt this time and make a race of this thing.
Yeah, I wanted to try to put the 2 Petite Filet on top. I actually think looking at, her second place finish, she was well defeated behind Grand Slam Smile, but I have some respect for that horse.
Yeah.
But I just struggle kind of stretching out. I just don't know what to expect from her. So I thought Loretta Lynn with that, lesser experience winning on debut might have some upside to her. So 4-3-2-1 here in the Soviet problems for Mike. 4-2-3-1. It's race number 9 this Sunday out at Los Al. Good luck.